Hello, everyone. Welcome to Echo Art with Carmella-T. We have had a super busy day, but I love days like this. Now, I have to tell you, my primary focuses of every day is first of all, getting my steps in, like walking, exercising. And as I'm doing that and coordinating what's going on in my art world, I also like to share bits of information with Mella's Wacky Wellness. That's my other channel. So this channel, the Echo Art, the Wellness channel, and getting my steps in are super important for me every day. Now, Vermont Sun and Shade, it gets some visitors here and there. So, but I really, really like to share at least 1 to 2 times a week over there. Maybe something that's going on in Vermont or something about wildlife or something that everybody, the Vermonters basically, and people coming to Vermont can relate to. So I just wanted to share that, and I wanted to thank everybody. I think I'm at like 1,400 and maybe 80 viewers. So I'm very grateful for that. I'm so grateful for your comments. I love your comments coming in because it really encourages me to kind of go ahead maybe with a thought I'm thinking to, and when you let me know you really like something, then I go ahead and make a video. Now, I got a few comments actually on the Japanese utility apron. So yes, we'll be doing a video on this. It'll probably be towards the end of the week. And, I say the end of the week. Now I'm thinking typically Sunday I have, an appointment. So, cause that's kind of what I was thinking. So it might be Saturday or Monday. So it might be one more day out. But I will share a video with you on how to do this easy way because, as you know, I'm not like a technical expert sewist. I am a sewist in the way I understand the basics of the rules of sewing, just enough to break them all. And and I'm very, very creative. So I love to share the creativity with you. So with that, I moved. So anyway, welcome to the channel if you're new. And yes, and we create with all recycled fabrics, and it's our way of giving the earth a little hug. And if you're coming back, thank you again for coming back. So I moved our quilted piece up on the table. And yes, it was difficult for some people to see it on the floor because of the space, the length of the space, and me trying to show you the whole thing. Now, when everything is sewn into place, that's when I typically, like that one, typically I hold it up. At this stage in the game, I put so the piece is on the table, and we'll put the camera and you'll be able to see it really good, but you'll be able to see the isolated design. So I went ahead and I changed the designs, of course, a little bit each. So we're working on this design and we're going to start stitching the design. And whoops, okay, that kind of slipped. Let's get you back there. There we go. And so I just took the thread. The only thing I did thus far is bring the thread up and put it underneath the fabric. So I'm going to put my pin cushion there, and I'm going to lift this up a little bit and hold it. And because all I'm doing now today, we're going to do with this piece, we're going to do the running stitch around, and then we're going to do we're going to stitch the whole thing. We're going to stitch this with some designs of Sashiko stitching. So and I'm not sure yet. I'll know by the time I get around it. Now, the thing about this fabric is I completely, totally love the birds. So I don't believe I want to do over stitching because I do not want to hide the birds. I want to be able to keep them. Let's see here if you can, if that's maybe a little better. I'm going to put the lamp here so it just holds this piece. And what I'm going to do is, for the sake of having to turn the whole thing around because it's quite large, I'm simply going to get up and move myself because I'm just moving myself around the small table. And I'm going to give that a little bit of a back stitch and lock that in place. And then we're going to go forward. And all I'm doing at this point is running stitches all the way around, and we're working in real time, so you get an idea of the length of time. Now, what I'm going to do, you can see that, let's make sure you can see, yep, you can see that I've placed 3 different patches together, did a little stacking to create the Boro effect as we create our Boro. So I'm just going to kind of go along this way. And I'm going to do a little back stitch here because I want to lock it because I'm going a different direction. And I'm going to, even though this polka dot piece is, it's overlapping the orange piece and it's off on the floral design. Now, what I'm doing, I got to get this pin out of the way. And so I'm stitching to the floral design. I'm going all the way through the floral and the moss green. So just for those of you who maybe weren't sure, that is what I'm doing. I'm going to pull this forward a tiny bit just so I can get a handle on it here. And we're going to sew right around the border. Now, do I have to sew around the border? No, I could have just said, hey, you know what? I want to go back and forth. I'm just going to go back and forth. Now, I sew around the border with these pieces because I really want to, I want to get them as sewn kind of, in place as much as I can. And many times going around the border and then maybe sometimes a straight stitch down through will secure them all so I can move a little bit better with the project. And but all in all, you can begin your stitches any way you want. Now, with the Kwandi method, they start stitching their outside border first. With the Boro, if you wanted to start in the center, you certainly could. So it depends on how you want to do that. I'm going to do a back stitch here because the reason I'm doing a back stitch here is you see the seam, the overlapping there. I'm going to make that a little snug. Do my little back stitch. That's a preference of mine. It doesn't mean that is exactly how you have to do it. You can certainly do your Boro stitching and do the running stitches the way you want them. And if you want them going all different directions, the free form style, you can do that too. I know I'm probably like right in front of this camera. It's the only angle I could get. And then we've got one more side to go. And it's such a difference with just seriously this visible, humble stitching. I just love it. I really do. So I'm going to get on the other side. And I'm going to go down. It probably looks to you like I'm going up. And this is Sashiko stitching, where you push the needle through, different from embroidery, where they pull it through. I'm going to do a back stitch just to lock those in place. I'm going to take this needle out, this pin. Now, the thing with the Boro too, you can do different stitches within one patch. You can do different stitches in each of the patches. Or you can just do one consistent stitch, you know, for the whole thing. That's lovely. And these stitching here deters that. We're going to get closer to the edges there for the stitches, but I like to start about 1/8 of an inch in. And so now, okay, now the other thing here is that you see I have enough thread to be working with, and you see the piece. I can start my stitching with this thread. I do not have to cut it. I can simply start. I can start either with, if I think it needs a back stitch, or I can go and do another stitch, maybe another small stitch, and start from the back of the piece and bring it up to where I want it. Maybe you have a little bit of extra thread back there, but as long as you don't have tons of it, you know what I mean? And you're just going from one section to another because that's how you want to start your stitching. In my book, I think that's perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is, so I'm going to put this down. And what I want to do with this piece is a couple things. I want to do seed stitching with this piece, with the orange piece. And then I want to do, well, let's get that done first because I'm not exactly sure. So with the seed stitching, it's going to be the front part of it here is going to be very tiny. It's going to be very tiny run. Let's put it that way. And then underneath, it may be a little longer. So wherever I come up. So you see how tiny it is right there. And then I'm going to bring the stitch this way towards me. And I'm going to bring it up here. Now you can do a few of these in a row once you know what you're doing, but you're going different directions. So you just kind of want to be mindful of that and just pull it gently. You're pulling it gently. That's very good. Okay, so, and then, but I'm just going to continue really to do one at a time because I'm most comfortable with that. So I can do a back stitch, make it very, very tiny. And I can do this whole piece like that, but I don't think that's what I'm going to do. This piece, I think I'm just going to do some running stitches. So I'm going to bring this up. I just don't want to confuse you because I'm going to jump back and forth with the type of stitches I'm doing. That's all I'm going to do. So for this piece, see if I can get on an angle here. I'm going to begin stitching it with running stitches only, following its edge, and pretty much that's how I'm going to do this. So I'm going to go around, and it will have kind of its own little design going on as I bring it to its center. And in the meantime, I'm going to keep popping back out here to do my seed stitching. So first I kind of want to just go around this way just because it's a little, I think this is how I'm going to do it actually, is before I outline that, I'm just kind of want to, or maybe you know what I'm going to do? I guess what I'm doing is outlining my circle. That's what I'm doing because that's very pretty. I like that. I like the circle. So we'll outline the circle. And this is like just a little difficult because typically what I do, and you probably do this too, is I just sit down and sew. And then the wherever I'm going is where I go. But explaining it and being in the creative process at the same time, it's a little different, but I totally enjoy it and love to share with you because that's what it's all about. It's about sharing and helping each other with our journey, helping each other be inspired, making life a little more interesting for each other. And I'm just going to, yeah, so this circle I'd like to go around. I kind of pictured this with more circles, I'm going to be honest. And I didn't put more circles. Now, with that, I want to change the thread. So we're going to do that shortly because I want to use a black thread. I want to use black and white with the seed stitching, and I want to use black for the circle. So that is how I'm going to do. I guess that's how I'm doing this piece, yes. And so the circle is just running stitches, just going around and around in the circle. And I think I can do one or two more here. Yeah, that's good. And I'm going to make the last one a back stitch. And I'm going to bring that back here. And what I usually do is I come back later and tie, but I guess I could tie this right now. The reason, so here I'm going to tell you, the reason I don't tie all the time right away is because sometimes I feel I might change. I usually don't. But I think that's the reasoning behind that one. So anyway, okay, now I'm going to put this back down so you can see. Yeah, right there, you can see that. And I'm going to put the lamp on there to hold it in place. Now I'm going to switch for a moment to the black thread because I feel like that will be a really nice offset to on here. Oh yeah, on the coral with the floral piece in the background that has predominantly a black background. I think it's going to be lovely. And you'll be able to see the seed stitching. So I've got some in there. That's okay. I can go back in and and do more seed stitching in the white, but I kind of want to flip over to this because I want to, I don't know, I want to see what it looks like. I guess it's my big thing. So I kind of want to see what it looks like. Okay. So again, seed stitching, very tiny. It can go in any direction. Because just think like you're dropping a bag of seeds and they're all over the floor. And where are they? So just kind of like that, go down there and then come back up like that. And then, just kind of go down and maybe over to the side like that. Just wherever you want to go. Now, if you're trying to make a definite image, you certainly could do that. You could draw a picture on there because these are very, very pretty, in my opinion. They're so delicate. They're so simple. They're ridiculously adorable. I mean, they're teeny tiny little dots, little, just like they said, little seeds. And I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I was thinking about this and I was tempted to do the whole piece in seed stitching. Now, I am going to do a whole piece in seed stitching. Totally. But I don't know when, I don't know what. But this will have these pieces, some of these pieces. Um, if it's looking like there should be little seeds on it, then yeah, for sure. I will do the piece in seed stitching. Now look, I have not even moved from where I'm sitting because I don't have to. With the seed stitching, I think that's what I love about it too. I can go any direction. And I feel like those different directions also kind of lock this in place, but I can go any direction and it doesn't matter. It's like it doesn't matter where I'm at. So they come out beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bellissima. Talk English today. Oh goodness. Okay, so now I was almost tempted to do French knots with these, but that's a bit much with the birds. So I was thinking maybe French knots here or in the circle. But I'm going to go around in the circle first with black. Maybe in the center of the circle, I'll do some white to offset, some white French knots. Now the French knots, I always have to practice a little bit before I do them again because there's a certain way, definitely a certain way to do them, but it's not difficult. It's just twisting the yarn around the needle and then just kind of putting that through the fabric right next to the little knot. But I'll show you anyway, for those of you who haven't done it. For those of you who have done it. Now, okay, so the more you do of these, right, the just more adorable the piece gets. It just does. It's just amazing. I can't even explain. And I just simply just love it. So this is going to be my last little seed. And then so I'm going to fold that over and tie that. And you see the length between the little seeds are wide. Now you don't have to do it like that. You can do your seeds right next to each other, but mine are wide, which is all right. That's okay to do it that way. you do it whichever way. The reason I do it that way is because I'm very much in the creative process. I know that sounds weird. I just want the sewing needle to take me to where it wants. And so I don't want to worry about, oh, I used a little extra thread in the back. I know I should, but I'm not wasting this from the thrift shop. So I am totally putting it to good use. And okay. Now I'm going to continue like that. So now the next little design I want to show you is because if I keep you with me filling this piece up with all the seeds, you're going to be here forever. You're going to be here a number of hours. So we're just going to go to each patch and show you the design that I'm doing because I know some of you are coming along with me and I'm so happy about that. So I want to be able to share this with you. So, okay, here, let me see where I'm at. The glare of the light is on me right here. Okay. So what I'm going to do is continue in a circle. And I'm pulling this between the fabrics. And I will cut that little, I'll probably tuck that under, actually. I think it would be fine tucked under. Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now just all I'm doing is going around the circle. So I'm just simply following the running stitches that I just went around the parameter with. And I'm using I'm using a simple running stitch. Now, am I worried that my circle comes out perfectly circular? No, I am not. I am not. No. I know that I'm going to actually do a little back stitch there. I know that it's going to shape up just beautifully as I go along. Now, this I'm not getting up either. I'm not having to because I have my little guide. I can see my little stitches there. And I'm actually stitching backwards, which is a little ridiculous. Actually, I will get up because I don't want to confuse everybody. So this will be a better angle. And just following my stitches and I'm working my way from the outer circle to the inner. And what's odd about that is they'll tell you if you look up, hey, how should I be doing stitching my Sashiko circle? They'll tell you to work your way from the center out. And I think that's what they say. And I usually do from out towards the center. So I think it's really whatever you're really, really comfortable with. Because you may not be comfortable with the center, working from the center. But I do think it's easier if you work from the center. I really do. So, this is just me kind of in the zone, just going with the process that I think I like. And now this piece, as I'm doing this right now, is pulling as though there is actually a person pulling this off the table. And the reason is the heaviness of it. That's all that is. But it feels so weird. Like I'm really having to hold on to this. So that's why I put the lamp on the edge of it to hold it. Now, the more we get towards the center, a little bit easier it gets, the less stitches we need. We have to put this lamp back there. Oh, Maybe I'll sit down here. There we go. Okay, so yeah, that's better. I can sit back down there. Okay. Now, the other thing is you could have done seed stitching in each of these pieces. You could have done, again, I'm not getting my running stitches in on that angle. So this is why I usually do turn the piece every single time I'm turning. I just do. But because of the size of it and the table right now, there we go. Now we're done with that. I went all around that. Now I'm going to be switching my thread. So I'm just going to do a little knot there. And so see, and let me hold this up. Now none of this is done yet because I'll be doing more stitches, but it gives you a really good idea what's going on. So, okay, now this piece, what I'm going to do, I think, is just follow around. I'm just going to, just like what I was talking about, following the outline of it. So yeah, we're going to go with that. And I want to look at the difference here in the colors. This is slightly, almost looks like a beige white. This is white, like a bleached white actually. So I'm going to kind of go with this one, and because I want it to really show. So with this one, I'm just simply going to work with my running stitches, and I'm going to, like I said, stay with an outline. So, and this is the beauty of Boro, creating Boro with Sashiko stitching. You can do these any way you want. If you want, like I said, if you want to be super duper neat, and there's grids, there's patterns, there's all of that. Or you can do like this, like they started out in the pretty much the early hundreds of years ago, 1400s, just stitching out of necessity, and with primarily with the running stitch. So again, I am doing this backwards. I do apologize. I shouldn't be doing. Yeah, there's no rules, right? I can hear someone out there saying it. Carmella, you said there's no rules. So it's funny because it's almost comfortable doing. It's a new way to stitch. Let's all stitch backwards. So, okay, I'm going to go straight around the border here, and I may afterwards crisscross stitches in it if I want, but I don't know. So I always make sure the tail. Everyone, so the video popped off on me. And I was talking and working and talking, but all I did was complete the stitching on the polka dot piece just with running stitches, and then I continued doing some seed stitching on the beautiful dark coral piece with the birds, and I'm still working on that. And on the circle, I just simply went around. So, and that is what I'm doing with this Boro stacking piece. So, now with that, what I'm going to do is continue working on these. I may come back and work with you on some of these pieces, or go ahead and work the designs and then share them and show you if there's anything different with the stitching. I'll show you how I'm doing it. So with that, I hope that you have a beautiful day, and I hope that this helped. And thank you so much for your comments, and stay as creative as you are, and love and light.